day 2 of the Confident Connected 5-day challenge. Hopefully you received your printable guide yesterday via email and you put down your thoughts and responses for the day 1 tasks. And hopefully you found the little extra bonus chart I put in there to be helpful. This is the behavior decoder that students of the Confident Connected method receive as a part of the program. This will help you to really start putting on that lens of curiosity and context to your child's behaviors instead of taking them personally, right? So our contest winner from day 1, Tiffany Hansen won the Calm Kids Masterclass video. So congratulations, Tiffany. It's either Kiesler Hansen or Kessler Hansen, I'm not sure, but I will get in touch with you and make sure that you get your prize. All right, let's jump in. Today, we are taking the challenging trigger behavior that you noticed yesterday. Remember, we talked about getting really specific with it. And we are going to be empowering you in how to respond to it in a much more helpful and effective way. How awesome does that sound? So yesterday you reflected on the challenging behavior and the possible context, right? The needs, the underdeveloped skills that might have been happening underneath this behavior so that we don't personalize it. Today, we're going to explore the specific spot that you need to intervene in order to halt your reactivity that usually comes next after this behavior. So this is phase 2 of our cycle of negativity and disconnection, right? That's where we are today. This is an epic phase, you guys, because I don't know if you noticed, but phase 1, we don't have a lot of control. And what I mean by that is we have no control. We all wish we could control our child's behaviors sometimes, but alas, we cannot. Phase 2, though, my friends, we do have control over, and that is where our power lies. So if we want to really dial into our own reactivity, we need to be aware of what's happening in our brains during that time. And that is something called our thoughts, emotions, actions sequence. What this means, we know this from neuroimaging, this is science, that when something happens to us during the day, our brain immediately formulates one or a bunch of thoughts around it automatically. Then those thoughts communicate with a part of our brain that produces emotions, and therefore then we are propelled into actions based on those emotions, right? So this is how the sequence happens extremely quickly all day long inside of our brains, right? Now, in general, our thoughts fall into 2 categories: helpful thoughts and unhelpful thoughts, right? Helpful thoughts are usually ones that are grounded in reality, reason. They usually lend themselves to emotions that allow us to act in ways that are helpful, productive, right? Again, reasonable, rational, and that correlate with the situation that we're in, right? And unhelpful thoughts, not so much. Those are almost always grounded in kind of what I call like your subconscious garbage dump of thoughts that it pulls from. Your brain remembers all sorts of things the way that you were raised, what other people have said that you've heard throughout the years on how kids should act and how parents should act, right? It picks up outdated approaches on child development and all sorts of things that are not helpful or applicable to your unique child. So these unhelpful thoughts can sound like, why does she never unload the dishwasher when I ask her to? He always disrespects me when his friends are around. Kids should be able to clean up their rooms by now. He's 6 years old. They purposely do this to push my buttons, right? So there's a couple different hints in there that I catch for unhelpful thoughts, and those are always, never, and should. Always and never are a great example of black and white thinking or extreme thinking. And should is very speculative, right? It's subjective. It's not based on reality, on child development, on child psychology, on what kids can actually do. We're just shoulding on them, right? So we can go into a million of these, what are known as cognitive distortions. We go deep into that in the Confident Connected method. And I am going to be mentioning the Confident Connected method program, by the way, because that's where all this stuff is pulled from. And I do want to let you know that there will be an opportunity to continue to go deeper on this stuff, and work with me when this week is over. If you're just here for the content this week, that is amazing. You will get a ton out of it. The thing is, the reason why these challenges are so valuable is because a lot of the times, not a lot of the time, I'd say almost all of the time, the challenge for intentional, amazing parents like you, if you're here, you are one, is not a knowledge gap. You know a lot of this stuff, but it's the behavior gap. As humans, we need to work with the way that we learn, work with the way that we actually integrate new information and turn it into change. And that's accountability. And that is showing up every day, doing what you need to do, right? It's having the supports and the tools and the consistency to implement it. So just want to let you know that when I am mentioning the program this week. And also I am going to make an exciting announcement at the end of the week too about the program, something I've never done before, if you can imagine what that might be, next week being Black Friday. So anyway, changing your thoughts is an intentional, one step at a time, slow process. So for today, that's exactly what we're going to do. So our daily task for today is going to be practicing metacognition, or becoming more aware of your own thoughts. So what you're going to do is you are going to stop and take 3 breaths. That's it. When you notice the trigger behavior that you identified yesterday, or you notice yourself somewhere in the sequence of the thoughts, emotions, actions sequence. So when you're starting out, it is very likely that you will not catch yourself to take these breaths until the end, till the action, until you've raised your voice, until you've clenched your fists, because it is really hard to zero in on this process that has been so unconscious and so automatic for so long. Right? So whenever you notice it in that sequence, you're going to stop. I like to squeeze my hands. That's kind of my physical reminder to stop. If you need that, maybe you're good at the self-talk and you can just say stop in your head. Maybe you want to say stop, right, out loud. That's a great model for your child. And then you're going to take your 3 breaths. We're not worrying about anything after that. Then you're going to take a few minutes at some point thereafter to reflect on that. Reflect on it, put your thoughts down on your sheet. What emotions may have been going on behind those actions, and then what thoughts may have driven those emotions, right? This takes time, and we often need to go backwards when we're first trying to kind of map this out in order to eventually be able to jump in earlier in that sequence. So that is all for today. Today's prize. Today's prize is our Big Kids emotion set. It is a full set of emotions, flashcards for kids ages 5 to 12, a full page emotion sheet, and some calming strategies, which will really help your child develop their emotional regulation skills. So give your feedback and your responses to your task for today down below the video here, or in the Parents Raising Strong Little Kids Facebook group, and you will be entered for the Big Kids Emotion set, and I will announce the winner tomorrow morning. That's it for day 2, you guys. All right, go out and let's put this into action.